You know what I'm here for.
Back on top, punching the clock, clutching sanity. I got more cribs than Habitat for Humanity.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Day number 3 of December. That means upload number 3 of the month. I'm trying to get uploads every single day for the month of December. So be sure you are subscribed, turn post notifications on, and leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel a lot. Don't miss an upload because we're going to have a lot to talk about this month. And the good thing about the NBA is they always give you something to talk about. Like yesterday, I had recorded a video talking about Zion Williamson's setback, but then I kind of rewatched it. I'm like, I didn't really like how I just was, my presence in the video, so I recorded something else. But today we got reports that the Trailblazers are making a change in their front office. Neil Olshey has been pretty much fired by the organization. I guess it's something to do with misconduct to the team. He had been under investigation for something going on within the franchise, and he has been removed of his duties. And I think I speak for majority of NBA fans, and especially Portland Trailblazer fans, when I say it's about damn time that Neil Olshey is no longer the GM of the Trailblazers. Now, I would never wish for a man to lose their job because Neil Olshey is a grown man who probably has a family to feed of his own. So it does suck that a man has to lose his job, but I think he's overstayed his welcome in Portland. We talked about the Trailblazers a lot, especially on this channel, how they've achieved as much as they can with the assets that they have. They have a small backcourt. It's hard to win a championship in the NBA with a smaller backcourt. They made it to the conference finals in the West, and they lost to the Golden State Warriors, which we know the Warriors dominated the back half of the 2010s. And I just think they really got the most out of the team that they had at that time. And the team wasn't like super talented. It was a lot of Dame and CJ just doing what they do. And they had pieces around them that really plugged up some of the holes that they had on the defensive side of the floor. Enes Kanter has stepped up that season, but before, Yusuf Nurkic, before he got hurt, was playing really well. They did what they could, and they've tried to reorchestrate this team. It just hasn't worked, man. I thought last season, getting Robert Covington, I thought Derrick Jones Jr. was going to be a big-time addition. That didn't really work out too much. Rocco's playing better this year, but it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of the same for the Portland Trailblazers. And their thinking was, okay, we've had Terry Stotts here for X amount of years. He's been here for like 6-7 years as a coach. Maybe if we just get a new coach in here, we can get the most out of this team. Maybe we can take another step forward. And I think collectively as NBA fans, we're like, there's more wrong with this team, man. There's more wrong with this team. I'm a big CJ McCollum fan. I really love CJ's game. I'm also a big Damian Lillard fan as well. And I don't think, not that you can't win with these two together. I don't want to say that. It's the fact that you can't really orchestrate the roster around them as you would like with the pieces that they have, because you have Dame under a big contract, CJ's under a big contract. You pay Yusuf Nurkic, I believe, too. Like, you got guys under wraps. You just paid Norman Powell. Like, you have so many guys tied up to money, and it's just like these guys together aren't good enough to win a championship. And there's always been dreams of them getting, Melo when he was still maybe in all-star form, or other guys. There's been, I remember Kawhi Leonard maybe last offseason was kind of rumored like this would be a nice fit. There's been so many wings that have been, wishful for the Portland Trailblazers, but it's just not realistic. Then it's like, okay, maybe we can get Ben Simmons for CJ, or maybe we can get, a Jaylen Brown in here. Like, there's just been so many wishful thinking for Trailblazers fans, but it's just, the reality is I don't think it's really possible with Dame and CJ still being on the roster. I think it's time. I think it might be coming towards the time where we might see one of those guys, if not both of them, traded sometime soon. I think it's really time for Portland. They're kind of in the same boat. They remind me a lot of the Indiana Pacers, a team that's just kind of stuck in mediocrity. I mean, they're better than the Pacers. The Pacers are really bad this season, in my opinion, but they're two teams are kind of stuck in a similar boat. They're cool with being competitive, but they don't want to take the next step to either build a real championship team or just hit the reset. And the Blazers have tried to revamp. They tried to revamp. They brought guys in there since they lost, Aminu and Mo Harkless a couple years ago, and it just hasn't worked. They traded Gary Trent. I didn't agree with that last trade deadline. I like Norman Powell, but I just think Gary Trent, he's younger, a little more upside. Could have got him on a more team-friendly deal too. It's just so much wrong doings by Neil Olshey over this last half decade or so. It's I'm glad that, you know, they're finally able to make a move. I'm just kind of disappointed it maybe took this long. Same thing with Terry Stotts getting fired. Once again, I don't wish for any person to lose their job, but some people just overstay their welcome in the NBA. We've seen it happen a lot. Luke Walton probably lasted a little longer as a head coach than he probably should have, and this happens numerous times with a bunch of different teams too. But the Trailblazers one really sticks out because you have a top 75 player in Damian Lillard. He's top 75 player all time according to whoever voted for that list. So he's one of the best players to ever suit up in the league, and you have really failed to put a really consistent contender around him. I mean, a lot of times if it's not Dame throwing on the cape, putting on his backpack, this team's not really successful. They're not. And it's a good sign, I guess, this season that Dame hasn't been amazing. They're still like a 500 team. But I have no faith in this team. I had no faith in them last season after, you know, their early start. And it's the same thing, just a different year with this team, man. And I don't know. I can't predict the future. I don't know. Maybe this team remains the same the rest of the season. No trades are made, and you know, we go into the offseason talking about, is Damian Lillard going to get traded to the Lakers again? Like, that might be the case. That might be the case. But I think hopefully this team finds a direction. Their new interim GM is, I believe, Joe Cronin. I'm not too familiar with him, but the name does sound familiar, but I'm not too familiar with him as, you know, being in a front office, you know, as a head GM. So I'm interested to see what he does, if he even has that much leeway since he is just the interim GM right now. But this might be leaving some writing on the wall that it might be the end of the Dame CJ era in Portland, because there's not much that you could do without trading one of those guys. And if you obviously want to still build around Dame, you're going to have to trade CJ. And if you trade Damian Lillard, you're probably hitting a nice reset. We might see a lot of those faces in the Portland Trailblazers locker room be gone. So I just thought this was interesting, man. I mean, we talk about the Trailblazers quite a bit for a team that's not really a contending team, but they have a superstar that could potentially be on the move sometime soon. I mean, we said this in the offseason, and Dame said, I'm here to stay. One of the most loyal dudes in the NBA. I respect the hell out of Dame for being that loyal to this franchise, but if he cares about winning meaningful basketball games late in May and early June, it might be time for him to, you know, request out of Portland. But Neil Olshey out as the Portland Trailblazers GM. Let's see how the rest of the season goes for the Trailblazers. Hopefully they fix that 1-10 record on the road at least, because if not, this team might be in danger of not making the playoffs. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe. Daily uploads every day of December. At least we're going to try our best to. But I'm out. Peace.
Off season. Let's work. Hey, plotting my escape, this game right.